Now we'll factor things of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So in particular, we now have a number in front of x squared. So the first step is going to be to find a times c. So we're going to multiply those things. And then we want numbers p and q such that p plus q is equal to b, the coefficient of x, and p times q is equal to this ac term that we found. We're then going to use that to write ax squared plus px plus qx plus c, and then we can factor by grouping. So we'll do some examples. 2x squared minus x minus 6. So we start with finding AC. So we multiply 2 times negative 6 to get negative 12. So I need numbers that multiply to be negative 12. I have negative 1 and 12. Or 1 and negative 12. Negative 2 and 6, or 2 and negative 6. And negative 3 and 4, or 3 and negative 4. When I add these, I get 11, negative 11, 4, negative 4, 1, and negative 1. And I can see in my problem that I need the negative 1. So now we write this as 2x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 6. If I look at the first two terms, I can see they have an x in common, so I'll remove that, and I'm left with 2x plus 3. My next two terms have a 2 in common, but since they're both negative, I'll actually remove a negative 2 to get 2x plus 3. And now we have the 2x plus 3 in common. So when I remove that, I'm left with an x and a minus 2. Another example, 4x squared plus 4x minus 3. So I start with multiplying 4 and negative 3, which is negative 12 once again. So things that multiply to be negative 12, negative 1 and 12, 1 and negative 12, negative 2 and 6, 2 and negative 6, and 3 and negative 4, and negative 3 and 4. When I add these, 11 minus 11, 4, and I'm going to stop here because we can see that that's what we wanted. So this is 4x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 3. Looking at the first two terms, they have a 2 and an x in common, and I'm left with 2x minus 1. The second two terms have a 3 in common, and I'm left with 2x minus 1. And now we have this 2x minus 1 in common. And I'm left with 2x plus 3. We'll now look at completing the square. So completing the square is to basically take something and write it in the form x plus a squared or x minus a squared. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to take the coefficient of x we divide by 2, and then we square the result. So let's look at some examples to help simplify this process and make sense of it. X squared plus 6x. So we start by looking at the coefficient of x. We divide by 2, which gives us 3, and then we square the result. which is 9. So I'm going to want to add 9 to complete the square. And when I do, this becomes x plus 3 squared. My next one, the coefficient of x is 14. So we divide by 2 to get 7, and then square the result to get 49. So I'm going to write this as x squared plus 14x plus 49. And this factors into x plus 7 squared. Y squared minus 18y. So we take the number in front of y, divide by 2 to get negative 9, and negative 9 squared is 81. So now I have y squared minus 18y plus 81, which factors into y minus 9 squared. My last one has a negative 7. Negative 7 over 2 is just negative 7 over 2. And then if we square that, we get 49 over 4. So this is what I would add. This one looks a little bit trickier to factor, but it's not bad if you've noticed the pattern. So if we go back, here, when I divided 6 by 2, I got 3, and you'll notice this is a plus 3. Here, when I divided by 2, I got a 7, and you'll notice this is a plus 7. Here I got negative 9, and this is a minus 9. Here I had negative 7 over 2, so this term here will be negative 7 over 2.